kind of things you try to identify there?
Well, he's got 2 games under his belt. I think he has a lot of poise in the pocket. He can make some great throws. He's definitely doesn't feel pressure around him. He keeps his head down the field. He can run with the football. He makes great reads, and I think he's off to a great start.
Thanks.
All right, next we have Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach. Oftentimes with these rookie quarterbacks, opposing teams will blitz. But in the case of Herbert, he seems to be doing really, really well against the blitz. And so I'm just wondering, how often have you encountered young quarterbacks like him who tend to do really well in that department? How common is that? It doesn't seem like it's a very common thing.
Well, we don't look at young or old quarterbacks. We just look at the team we're playing and try to stop some of the things that they do. I think he does everything well in their system. And like I said, he can run, he can throw the ball, he takes great reads. He's a first-round pick for a reason. He's 6'5" and athletic. And, we know we got our work cut out for us. And defense isn't as easy as blitz the young guy. I mean, we have young guys too. So we're trying to worry about our own guys and try to do the things we know how to do.
Is it a little more complicated, though, for a defense like yours where you guys are known for bringing pressure and for being aggressive? Is it a little bit trickier when you have a guy that tends to get rid of the ball quickly and does well against the blitz, or does it not really matter? Is it always just a challenge?
It's always a challenge regardless. I mean, every week is different for us. I mean, we can dial it up or we can dial it back depending on who we're playing and how we game plan. So it's just a matter of understanding what we do and taking care of what we have to do to win the ball game.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, next is going to be Ed Encina.
Hi, Todd. Talking to a lot of your players, they use the word mastermind when they talk about you. They talk about kind of the trust that they have that you're always going to put them in the position to succeed and that you're going to get them involved. How big of a part of that is kind of the success of the way that you guys have been playing and just how this defense has grown over the past year?
I think it's just their second year in the system and them trusting each other on the field. I think as coaches, it's our job to try to put them in the best positions possible for them to make a play. And believe me, we're no masterminds over here at all. We just try to coach good football and good football players. So we work hard every week and, sometimes you have a good game plan and it sucks, and sometimes you have a bad game plan and it works out well. So we're just going to keep grinding and working. We got a lot of stuff and a lot of kinks to still work out, and we try to win while doing it.
Thank you.
All right, next is going to be Greg Allman.
Hey, Todd, I want to ask you, this stuff's on tape, so I hope I'm not asking you to give up anything that opponents don't know or don't care about. But you had 2 kind of new looks on Sunday that I hadn't seen from your defense much. One that had 4 down linemen out altogether, and then another one that had JPP inside and had Levante as an outside linebacker. Just as much as you're comfortable sharing or explaining what you call those looks and what benefit that has to throw opponents off. All right. A little bit.
What I call those looks?
Yeah, or just generically.
One is 4 down, one is 5 down generically, and we go down that way. But excuse me, it's a good question, but it's probably too much information for my part if I answered it, Greg. It's a heck of a question. Off the record, we probably could talk, but on the camera.
All right. I had to try. Thank you, Todd. I'll leave you alone.
All right. We're going to go over to Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Coach. Where does the inspiration come from your blitzes? When do they hit you when you're watching film, or do they pop in your mind on the way to work or in the shower? Where do you come up with these schemes most often?
I mean, they're common. It's not just me, it's the coaching staff as a whole, and we try to make sure we cover our bases from the week before and the week before that, and we try not to look the same without jeopardizing each player and keeping their strengths at their strengths and their weaknesses at their weaknesses. So it changes. Sometimes it varies. It could be all out. It could be simulated pressure. It could be zone. It's not just a blitz thing. We don't consider ourselves just a blitz team. And last week was kind of an anomaly that it worked out that way in the second half. And obviously we watched tape and we did some things we don't normally do, but we'll go back and see what we can do and try to win the ball game.
And one follow-up to the Blitz question. Do you come up with more of those pressure schemes in the off season when you're just thinking about defense, or is it more in season when you're specifically going after a particular opponent and you're devising something for that game plan?
Usually it's in season, but because we had a longer off season, you get a lot more time to watch film and think and tinker with things. So you come up with a little more in the off season this year.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Luke Easterling.
Coach, it's one thing for teams to preach the next man up mentality. I think every team wants to approach that. You guys, on both sides of the ball really have had to test that really early this season. What does it say about the way this team was built, spending draft picks to really address the depth in certain positions, and you guys testing that this week, having to move Antoine to nickel and putting Mike in, and he makes a big play? What does it say about the way this team is built and the way those guys on your roster have stepped up and executed in those moments?
I mean, it's a credit to Coach Aarons and Jason Light, how they bring guys in here that can do multiple things and play multiple roles. And it helps out to have versatile ball players, and for them to recognize that and draft and sign these type of guys for us, it says a lot about them. Thanks, Coach.
We have time for two more questions. We're going to go with one from Taylor Jenkins and then one from Leo Haggerty.
Hey, Coach, going off of the 5 down lineman question a little bit, we saw a lot of 5-2-5 looks, 5-man fronts, 6-man fronts with Jordan Whitehead sitting at that money backer position. What did you think about his play there, and what do you like about him there?
I think Jordan's a very tough player. He's probably one of the hardest working guys we have over there. He's a little unsung along with Golston, but Jordan's tough. He plays down low very well. We know he can tackle. He's going to hit anything that moves, and he's a very bright player, so we're allowed to move him around some and put him in some different situations.
All right, next is going to be Leo Haggerty.
Coach, Tyron Taylor hasn't been officially ruled out of the game. Are you going to have some practice time to plan in case he has to play?
Well, we try to plan for everybody on the roster. With injuries occurring in the game and out of the game, you always want to know who goes in, not just at quarterback, but every position. So, it's our job to understand who we may be playing against if something happens. So, yeah, we prepare for him as well.
That'll do it for today. Thanks, Todd.
Yep. Greg, I apologize. I wasn't laughing at you. I was just laughing because that's kind of my laugh for the day. So we'll talk.